I want to give a shout out to Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reporter Brian Batko for this idea. He had a mailbag question in one of his columns that asked this. It said, if you could magically add one former player to this Steelers team, who would it be and why? And this got my wheel spinning. I've got a few answers, but I'm going to turn the floor over to you, Ike. What's your answer to this question?
Mean Joe Greene. Man, first I want to see him in person. So, second of all, the intensity he played with, the attitude. He's the pioneer of starting this Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty. So, I would love if I had to ask somebody, it's the Mean Joe Greene, because he held from coaches to himself to his teammates accountable every play. And to hear the stories of his teammates and what they say about Mean Joe Greene, we can sit down for days and just listen to the Francos, the Rockies, the Stalwarts, the Swans, the Mel Blunts, just talk about Mean Joe Greene. It's crazy. He's a big teddy bear, but his nickname is Mean Joe Greene. ain't that something? So that said a lot when grown men call you Mean Joe Greene. But if it's one person I would love to add, it would be Mean Joe Greene.
Okay, I'm going to go in a little bit of a different direction, but before I do, I mean, everyone remembers the iconic Coca-Cola Super Bowl commercial, but I'd encourage any of our viewers or listeners to go back and look at highlights of Mean Joe Greene just wreaking havoc on opposing offenses. It is just, it was a different era back then, but it was just unbelievable what he could do, dominating at the line of scrimmage and just dominating football games. I would go with someone to replace future Hall of Famer Maurkice Pouncey. Now, whether you want to go with Mike Webster or Dermontti Dawson, Alan Faneca, how specifically you want to do that, that's really, we could sit here till the end of the day debating each of the merits that those players bring. That was one idea I had. The other idea I had, Ike, was, and this is no knock on Highsmith replacing Bud Dupree, but just considering what Bud Dupree and TJ Watt had, how about your former teammate, Ike, James Harrison, pairing opposite TJ Watt to get that 1-2 combination? Those, you always say, build your house from the ground up, and you choose Mean Joe Greene. I'm either going to do it from an interior offensive line standpoint or pairing opposite TJ Watt. That's where my brain went with this question.
Oh, well, you put a former league defensive MVP and Debo, James Harrison, with a TJ Watt. As the young kids say right now, that's pressure. My nephew say, that's when something is good, they say, if he eating something good, he say, that's pressure right there. That's pressure right there. And that would be a good scenario. That's pressure right there. James Harrison, a young James Harrison, and a TJ Watt, that's pressure. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. If you're going to go ahead and give me a two-piece, since you're giving me options, go ahead and give me Lamar Whitley and James Harrison.
Okay.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, dog. That's a lot of pressure. Mark, cause them two boys, you talking about a 1-2 punch?
That's pressure. I'm using it right?
Yeah, you got that right. You said it right. You used it exactly right. That's pressure right there, baby.